Warning.
This show contains mature content. Listener discretion is advised.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
One angry New York City Puerto Rican decided to start a radio show. Determined to piss the world off by shoving a mirror in front of society's face, he kicked them in the balls.
What are you? Who are you?
This is the Crotch Shot Radio Show. Crotch Shot Radio Show.
This is not a test. This is a broadcast transmission.
We're going to stay on the air.
And now, the Whippy.
Yo, welcome to the Crotch Shot Radio Show, where we kick the issues in the balls. We are on an active war against bullshit. We would do anything and everything to expose bullshit. The ends sometimes justify the means. So if you're angry and want the truth exposed, then strap in and prepare to be shocked. This is Smash Mouth Talk. If you can't accept that, then fuck off. I am your host, Louis B. I takes no shits from nobody. And I get pissed off very easily, and things annoy me, and instead of staying quiet about it, I take to the airwaves and smack the living fuck out of it. So, today, I want to talk about, do we live in a rape culture society? And before I start, let's hit the music. I just want to, I want to go at this as calmly as possible. So this video called MRAs Argue and Feminists Argue at the University of Toronto Men's Rights Activist event. And, yeah, refresh. There was this woman who, her name is Chanty Binx, or chanty-morris, from Canada. She actually flagged one of my videos as being, promoting terrorist and violence towards women. The video where I'm talking about when slut shaming is actually warranted, actually valid. I went on to say, like, look, if your chick is cheating on you, is having sex outside of marriage, you're doing everything correct, and she still steps out on you, yeah, she's a slut and she should be shamed for that type of behavior if she's in a committed relationship. Well, she didn't agree with that, of course. She posted my video, basically blaming everything for on patriarchy. So she came out on this video at the MRA event, just screaming at these guys with her little list on, oh, it's patriarchy, everything is patriarchy, and then they just ignore her because she's just being insane. So that'd just be, So one of the other females, an older woman, she goes, starts going with the whole rape apologist, rape culture type line, and they start discussing what is your definition of rape. And, I've said this ad nauseum on the show, how I was falsely accused of rape, got my ass kicked over a false rape accusation, almost locked up for it. Yeah, I'm trying to get over it 10 years later. Pushing on 11 years later. But, how do you define rape culture? A rape culture is any society that accepts rape as normal, as acceptable as breathing air and drinking water. Rape just happens. I mean, that's what I come to believe rape culture is defined and what it means. And I've just spoke about this before. You don't see that in this society. Whenever we hear a woman's been raped or a man's been, well, sometimes. But when you hear stories of rape, we're just appalled. We're horrified. We get that visceral anger. It is a, we get that rage. Like, how dare they just disrespect another person's body, another person's sanctity. And we want that person destroyed and removed from society. And we investigate, we find laws. Unfortunately, sometimes there isn't enough evidence to convict on those rare occasions. And I'm sorry when that happens. But it doesn't mean, the system wants you to get raped and wants you to not get justice. It's just that because of the Constitution we have, you're innocent until proven guilty. And if there isn't any evidence to prove you guilty, we can't just start throwing people in jail, because that just starts a precedence on just locking up innocent people. Mind you, innocent people still get locked up. So, I mean, and I just love how feminists demonize patriarchy. And, I Googled it, and patriarchy is basically men as head of the household. What is so wrong with that? When done properly, I mean, hell, that's how it works. That's how a family works. Men are supposed to be head of the household. Men are supposed to take the lead. Men also are supposed to provide for their families, if they have them. And in that type of organization, family organization, it's strong, because it doesn't mean the woman is less than, and it doesn't mean that the man is more. It means there are certain roles, when put together, the machine works. The family machine works. It runs properly. And it's done so. If the family is the engine, then love is the gas. But the thing is, we've just been shamed to not, to view loving someone as a weakness. And you know what? I might start coming off like a fucking mangina or a fucking white knight. But if I had Chanty Binx on my show, how I played it with what's her name from the Westboro Baptist Church when I had her on. You know, playing it fast and cute, and you know, trying to make her laugh, try to get her on my side, and you know, I'm pretty sure I'll win her over. I mean, it's just really sad that we have such hatred for one another and no respect for one another that we can't even hear each other. And and look, I'm not trying to take anything away from the MG Toes or the MRAs. Look, a lot of what they say I agree with, especially with how men are treated in society now. But like I said in my last show when reviewing that book, Men on Strike, a lot of it is a cop-out. An excuse not to work, not to fight, not to make your life better for yourself, and just, you know, basically sucking it up and powering through. And big shout out to Brody, to Casey in the chat room. So, I mean, she goes off how it's patriarchy, but I don't think patriarchy is an evil thing. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Because women have their own energy. Women have their own energy. Men have their own energy. And when you work together in a symbiotic relationship in your own specific roles, it works. So, again, a rape culture is a society that accepts rape as normal. We don't accept rape as normal. In fact, we view it as repugnant. We want to hurt real rapists. As men who have fucking sense, who are not insane, because the only people I can think of rape and think it's a good thing to do are people that are insane. People, the men and women that rape little girls and little boys, or rape men or rape women, they're insane. It's no normal man or woman rapes. No. It's unacceptable. It's not. Rape is not another form of sex. With that said, what is rape? Again, this is all my opinion. For what rape has come to mean for me is when you are ripping someone's clothes off and they're screaming, no, stop, no, stop. They're not giving consent. They're trying to, you know, they don't want you to have sex with them, and you still force it and you steal their body. That's what rape is. Rape is not you give consent and then the next day you realize, oh shit, I'm gonna look like a slut to my family, to my friends, or I have a boyfriend that might break up with me and he's pretty rich, so instead of me taking responsibility for my own motherfucking actions, I'm going to pin rape on this guy. You know, it's like, well, I'm sorry, well, when it comes to sex, there is no early termination fee like a cell phone plan. Once you give consent and you've gone through with it, and, I mean, unless you say in the middle, stop, I don't want this, and the guy just keeps going, then that's rape. But you also got to think, how long do you give him to comply? Because if you tell him stop and don't give him a chance to pull out, that's still not rape. Give the motherfucker a chance to comply. You know, if a woman says no, as a guy, I'll get out as quickly as possible, jump out of the bed, put my clothes on, leave. Like, oh, nope, alright, goodbye. But what is consent? Consent is when you say yes. Consent is when you kiss back. Consent is when you're grabbing genitalia and ass and pulling it out and sticking it in your mouth and whatnot. Consent is actually going for it. Consent is not saying no. Consent is not. Consent is when you're not pushing away. When you're not giving any indication of resistance, or well, not even resistance, because you could tell when a person is really not into it. You could sense body language. That's if you're fucking paying attention to the other person like you really should be. Like, trust me, because when I've been with certain chicks and they've acted like they weren't into it, I stop. When I see them looking away and, you know, not looking at me or not giving certain body, I stop. To me, that's not hot. I don't find that attractive at all, man. But that's just me. But unfortunately, when it comes to this, when it comes to personal responsibility, this society puts all the responsibility on men. Case in point, in Ohio, where that woman was getting her pussy eaten out in front of God and country, she was drunk as hell, but so was the other guy. But she gave consent by the way she was acting. She was pushing his head closer, grinding on his fingers, enjoying herself, which you could clearly see on the video. But because it went viral, you know, she felt like a slut. She felt, you know, and she ended up trying to file charges. Luckily for the guy, they chose not to charge him when they looked at the evidence. Good. God forbid there weren't any videos there. Because if there were, he probably would be getting railroaded, getting demonized as a rapist, and getting his life ruined. Because, you know, him and his chick wanted to get freaky out in the streets. But, I mean, when it comes to Chanty Binx, Chanty-morris, you know, why can't we have a dialogue? Why you gotta come out all hostile? All the videos I've seen of you, Chanty, every guy's trying to talk to you calm and haven't cursed you out, haven't called you a cunt or a bitch or a whore, but you've been very disrespectful. You've called people fuck faces. You told people to shut the fuck up. No, seriously, if you're having a debate, you don't fucking read a list. But if you're gonna read a list, go one by one. Argue each fucking point. Because the way I see feminism isn't about equality of the sexes. Because if there was true equality in the sexes, men would have full reproductive rights. There wouldn't be no fault laws. It would be if one of you cheats, then you pay. If you know, I mean, that whole alimony law would be fair. You wouldn't be divorce. Wouldn't mean a guy gets screwed over and damn near destitute. I mean, you're in Canada. One of the kids, one of the guys from the Kids in the Hall, his divorce, like, an article recently came out last year. Kids in the Hall member Dave Foley claims he can't afford to return to Canada. Dave Foley has claimed a recent court order prevents him from being able to set foot in his home and native land. Foley exclaimed during an interview on comedian Mark Maron's podcast that he was recently ordered by an Ontario family court judge to pay his first wife and 2 teenage sons more than he has been able to earn. I'm happy to give away half my money. That would be great, said Foley, but I'm literally obligated to give away 400% of my income or otherwise go to jail. The judge even said if I was paralyzed from the neck down, I would still be responsible for having to earn $1 million a year. And some of you who know Dave Foley, he's he's done voiceover work. He was on the show News Radio. And, you know, he doesn't have that type of money. He's not, in fact, yeah, this is what the article continues to say. The enforced ruling has motivated Foley, who also starred in the sitcom News Radio during the Kids in the Hall's mid to late 90s hiatus, to pursue a solo stand-up comedy career at age 48. Maris' podcast, on which he discussed the often unfunny side of show business with seasoned comedians, will surely bring Foley's financial frustrations to attention of Hollywood. But ex-wife Tabitha Southey, now a humor columnist for the Globe and Mail, might see things differently. The couple met in the early days of the Kids in the Hall, who caught their big break after performing in the back room of Toronto's Ravioli Club in the mid-1980s when she was the girlfriend of Foley's best friend. Blah blah blah, that's just bullshit. But while he was remarried to American actress Chrissy Guerrero a few years later, and the couple had a daughter in 2003, Foley said the strain of having to pay spousal and child support for his first marriage contributed to the recent dissolution of the second one. So the poor guy, he's getting screwed over. I mean, look, and there's I understand you gotta take care of your kids. But we got to make these laws fair. Like, why can't a woman provide... I mean, if she can't afford to take care of her kids, how come you can't just give custody to the husband, let her pay a fair child support that she can afford? But, I mean, if you make more and then all of a sudden you make less, you should be able to have payments reduced. It's so that way you could still provide for your children. I mean, 400% of your income? That's just crazy. I mean, Chanty, can you explain that? Why do you think a lot of men nowadays in America are really putting off having kids? Putting off getting married? Because you see crap like this so often. And, and then you just assume that all guys are deadbeats. like me, I'm like, I really don't want to have kids. No. What for? I mean, since most marriages ended, like 50% of marriages end in divorce. In fact, recent studies show that marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. You have to be married to get divorced. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's cheaper to never try together. It's cheaper to keep her, it's cheaper to never have her. Chantix. Yes, Brad. Yes, Casey. Get your Chantix today. If you got herp lip, Chantix is what you use to clear that sore on the top of your whore lip. Not calling you a whore, just making fun of your name. It's like, Chanty, can you all I'm asking is chill. I'm not, the only time I talk about whooping a woman's ass is if she tries to come at me with a knife or hit me for no reason. Because, hey, you want to be equal, then, if a dude was to try to punch me in the face, I'm fucking him up. But that stunt that your group pulled, men's rights activists are trying to have a meeting. It's not like they're talking about, well, we're gonna have an international rape day. Come on. On November 11th, no woman's vagina is safe. Men's rights activists proudly present the rapening. No, you're not gonna hear that shit. You're not. But pulling the fire alarm and wasting resources and possibly putting people in danger to stop discussion of an event that you weren't invited to, an event that you weren't welcome to, an event that wasn't disrespecting you. If you really want true equality, then you're going to have to address your own personal responsibility. You're going to have to address the reality of certain situations. Men are not making more than women anymore in most cases. In fact, I work in an industry where I get paid the same as a woman, and most of the time I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the work while, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I was working with a female co-worker. All she could do was complain that she wasn't with her boyfriend, how she was gonna miss out on his birthday because she was working, and she's just sucking her teeth. Come on. All fucking 12 hours of the motherfucking shift. She was so distraught, she couldn't do her work, she couldn't do her share of the rounds. She couldn't do her share of the responsibilities. All she could do was log on to fucking Hulu and watch Master Chef Jr. sucking her teeth on how bad her life is, where I had to fucking cover all 25 floors by myself, work the lobby all 4 hours till it was closing because she was so distraught she couldn't stand for 2 hours. I didn't argue. I didn't say, hey, suck it up, because I'm not a supervisor. And really, if I would have, it would have just fucked up the 12-hour shift arguing, because she wasn't going to do anything. And she got paid the same as I did. I didn't get a raise. I didn't get recognized for doing all the work. No. So let's cut that bullshit. So, you know, and I don't want to get into woman hating because I'm really trying to like really chill out with that. I'm really trying to get over my anger over how I was treated by women, because it ain't gonna change anything. Me getting pissed off is not gonna change anything. All it's gonna do is have the women in my life think that I hate them, that I want them dead, and no. That's not what I want. But ladies, feminists, you really come off as nuts when you don't want to hear us out. I know you're coming from a way of feelings, and men are coming from a way of logic. Just because you feel something doesn't mean that is the right logical response. And again, Emirates, I'm not trying to be a white knight, and I died it, didn't I? Alrighty. So anyways,
money, and no way.
So I don't know what else. Anyways, this was gonna be a quick hit. So this was gonna be a quick hit. So I mean, that's all I really gotta say. So Chanty, hopefully you listen to this. This is gonna be uploaded to YouTube, so please like, subscribe, comment, and please don't be assholes about it. I mean, it's really fucking annoying. So go, and it's, side note, if you're gonna discuss about something that I talked about a year ago, don't fucking add it. Don't fucking talk about it in this fucking thread. Take it to the video where I was talking about it, because I had some jack off friggin' comment on some other fucking subject that I spoke about on last week's video, where I didn't even fucking address that other subject. I'm not even gonna address that subject that I talked about here, because you know what? It's a dead issue, and it's time to move on. Alright, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. I gotta wake up early, so I just needed to get this shit off my chest. So this is Louis B, from my house to your house. Mahalo.
That's the end of my show. Donk.